What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video, and it's Christmas time, baby. So let's actually dig into some interesting statistics about the gear and settings that all the players that attended Valorant Champions in Berlin use, so you can get your settings optimized and know exactly what the next piece you're gonna add to your gaming setup will be this holiday season. But speaking of Christmas, go to the GameLeap website right now down below for high quality in-depth guides. If you want to improve your Valorant game and climb to Immortal this holiday season, you gotta go check it out right now down below to take your game to the next level. So go check it out right now. Let's first break down the mouse that was most popular in Champions. It was actually the Logitech G Pro Superlight at 42% pick rate, which while is undoubtedly a really good mouse, according to a lot of pros, it is on the more expensive side. So the second place was actually the Logitech G Pro Wireless, not the Superlight. And in general, lighter is going to be better, so the Superlight is probably just going to be a straight up upgrade unless you really prefer heavy mouse for some reason. But the G Pro Wireless is going to be a lot cheaper. And then in third place is one that a lot of pros have suggested, which is the Zowie EC2, which is cheaper than both options. And I probably would try that if you were looking for a mouse that was on the more budget side, or any lightweight mouse is going to be fine. I use the Model O. Many people use Razer mice. There's a lot of different options there. Next up, we got to talk about the monitor, and the most used monitor at 30% is the Zowie XL2546. And it's important to understand that every single monitor is a Zowie monitor in the top three. There's the Zowie XL2546K and the Zowie XL2540. So those are the top monitors. But basically all that matters is getting a high monitor refresh rate. That's pretty much what you need to be aiming for. If you don't have a 144 Hertz monitor yet, that would be the #1 thing I would say buy for Christmas, like period. High monitor refresh rate at 144 Hertz. And if you can afford the stretch, getting 240 Hertz is what a lot of pros love. That's the sweet spot. So just keep that in mind. And there's a lot of options if I'm being honest. Next up, we're going to talk about the headset used. The #1 is the HyperX Cloud 2s at 20%. That's the ones that I use. I freaking love this headset. But I have an external mic. I don't use the plug-in mic. And realistically, I should probably get like an audiophile, like legit headset to go with my mic rather than having a gaming headset. But if you're going to go for a gaming headset, I suggest the HyperCloud 2s for sure. Next up in second place is the Logitech G Pro Wireless. And then third place is the Sennheiser Game Zero. Now we actually got to talk about mouse pads, and in first place is the Vaxi PA at 17%. Then it's the Zowie GSR at 13%. And last up is the Logitech G640 at 13 as well. Now when deciding on a pad, it's gonna be very specific to you, right? It's not going to be a one size fits all. Some people like more like glass pads that have very little friction. Some people prefer a soft pad that has a lot more friction. And there's benefits to each. Some people are gonna like that glass pad more because you could hypothetically be like extremely quick and precise with some of these fast movements. However, you're gonna sacrifice some amount of control because if you get a really soft pad, you can actually push into the pad, create an artificial low sensitivity for some of those longer ranges away. And it's going to be just personal preference a lot of the time. Right now, I'm actually using one of my favorite pads I've ever had, which is a freaking artisan pad. You have to get them shipped from Japan. But they're just like quality-wise, just the best in the business. Ask anyone, they're amazing. But before that, I used a goddamn Magic the Gathering mouse pad, and it was fine for years. So yeah, it's really gonna be personal preference, and it doesn't matter all that much. If you have the money for it and you already got everything else, you can get a mouse pad as the cherry on top for Christmas. Now, next up, we do gotta talk about keyboard. So the first place is Logitech G Pro X Mechanical at 14%. Corsair K70 is in second place at 13%, and then in third, the Hyper Alloy FPS is at 11%. Keyboards are also going to be pretty personal preference. Some people like a lot smaller ones. Some people like a really big full-formed one, and it's going to just depend. Ultimately, all you're gonna need is a mechanical keyboard and you're just fine. And some people are gonna really care about keyboards, and others just aren't gonna care that much. If you're looking for a budget option, I would highly suggest some Red Dragon mechanical keyboards. They're just fine, and I think that they're really cheap and budget, and they're not gonna hurt your gameplay at all. So yeah, it's gonna depend on what you prioritize, whether or not you wanna get a keyboard this holiday season. Now let's actually dig into some of the settings. The settings are pretty interesting, and you can get a really good frame of reference for what your settings should kind of look like. It's also important not to copy anyone's sensitivity, but it is a good idea to get that ballpark figure. So first off, the average eDPI, which is the in-game sense multiplied by your out DPI. The average is actually 279 eDPI, and honestly for Valorant, having such a low sensitivity is really a huge advantage in general. It's gonna help stabilize your aim, and there's a reason why the average is so freaking small. I almost guarantee you that most of the people that struggle with their aim have a very high or way too high eDPI. So definitely consider what the average is and compare it to what yours is. And if yours is more than double the average, you most likely got a problem with your sensitivity. Now, median is at 250. The median scope sense is at 1. So a lot of people are just keeping it at 1. I personally like 0.8, and different people have tried different things. It's gonna be personal preference there. Now, the lowest eDPI was Nevera at 138. That is so freaking low. And the highest was Defo at 438. So that's kind of the extremely high. It's not actually as high as someone like Kiko, but it's pretty close. But we can actually look right here and you can see the actual arc. There is a surprising amount of people in that 350 to 400 range. And there's the biggest block, of course, in that 200 to 250 range. But if you're in that 400 plus, just keep in mind you're an absolute anomaly. And if you're above 600, then yeah, no pro is like you. There's no freaking pro player on the damn planet that has that high eDPI. So just keep that in mind. Now go to the GameLeap website right now for high quality in-depth guides. This is gonna allow you to optimize your gameplay, quickly climbing the ranks this holiday season. If you want to improve quickly, go check it out right now down below. Anyways, thank you so much for coming by. Smash the like, subscribe, and go follow me on Twitter at CoachMillsOW. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time.